Hey everybody, welcome to episode 15 of You Cannot Rewatch, the Evangelion Rewatch podcast. I am David,
I am Dylan.
and we were talking about episode 15, obviously. So make sure you familiar with it, just rewatched it, whatever you want to do. And we're gonna get started. First of all, I want to say this is an episode I remember parts from it, but I kind of forgot about it as a whole.
Right.
But I think this episode's great.
Yeah.
We're really cutting deep into the characters in this one, in a lot of really interesting ways. And again, I remember a lot of these scenes now that I see them, but like I kind of forgot about them like as a whole as an episode. And this episode's, I think, really important, setting up a lot of character stuff moving into what we're going to be moving into.
Yeah, I feel like the second half of last episode and this episode is kind of like the beginning where everything just kind of starts getting crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the show's been good so far, but like this is really where the show becomes great.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the stages of it now. So we open up, Gendo and Futsuki are flying around somewhere. I don't know where they're going. I'm sure somebody knows. But they talk about Adam a little bit, say Adam is growing or whatever. And then they mention the dummy plug. Something interesting I think Futsuki brings up is Ray going to be a problem? So I guess, they're noticing that she's becoming a little more independent and free thinking. They've already taken note of that. And they also mention, who we know is Kaji, but they say, like, should we worry about that guy that's doing stuff? And then, of course, hard cuts to Kaji. So just in case you weren't sure who they're talking about, the editing definitely helps you out with that. So this is the episode, I think, I don't know about how other people feel about Kaji, but this is the episode where I realized, like, whoa, I love Kaji. Kaji's a rad character.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, I love that, like, double, triple agent kind of stuff. And before this, we got a little bit of the idea that Kaji's up to some other stuff for sure. But before this, he still just kind of seems like this ladies' man, suave kind of guy. And this is the episode where we're like, oh, there's actually, like, a deeper aspect to Kaji.
Yeah.
He's much more mature and serious than he lets on. And he's really, like, digging deep into some interesting stuff here. So, he talks a little bit about the Marduk Institute, which you've learned a little bit about already, and then kind of Nerve, and, like, they notice all these dummy corporations, and they realize something's fishy with all this stuff. And Kaji kind of seems to be the only one on the show who's really kind of onto that at this point. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, I mean, obviously we've seen before, the rest of the world is not pleased with Nerve, but that aside, I don't know. I don't think they're displeased with Nerve because they think they're up to shady stuff. Even the people that work at Nerve, like Misato, who definitely is not aware of the shady stuff, doesn't even seem to know that there is a shadier side to it.
No, they seem to be more upset that it's like they get all this funding and money and they still haven't stopped the angels coming or anything like that.
Yeah, so Kaji really seems to be the only person that knows there's shady stuff that isn't involved in the shady stuff. Mm-hmm. So then on a different note, we see Asuka, the class rep, I can't remember her name, but she sets up Asuka with a date, and that's that scene. Asuka pretends that she's getting touched by boys or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we get a scene of, I'm just kind of jumping around here. Oh yeah, I forgot, we're always supposed to, kind of briefly mention which episode we're talking about. This is the episode where they dig deep into character stuff. There's not like a major event in this episode.
Not really.
Shinji goes to his mom's grave, if that helps you remember which episode this is. But we get a good scene of Rei talking to Shinji in the elevator. I think this is an interesting scene just because I've always wondered kind of what Rei's feeling in this scene. Because Rei's such an interesting character already. Like, it's hard to imagine what's going through that character's head at any time. But this scene is very unique because Shinji, is kind of complimenting her and saying she's like a mom or whatever. Yeah. And she blushes, which is, for I think for any other character, this scene would be just like weird and cheesy, and it still kind of is. But like for Rei, it's very interesting to see her blush and like be embarrassed about something. Rei, who is okay with like walking around naked and like has no humility or she doesn't, nothing bothers her, and so something that embarrasses her is kind of interesting.
Right.
And I've always wondered, Shinji says, you'd make a great mom and you're like a mom. I've always wondered if that line bothered Rei because she is aware of the fact that that's not a life that she's going to be having, or if she's somehow senses the connection with Yui. I don't know. I've
That's
always
what I'm
wondered what she thinks.
I felt that's kind of like an interesting foreshadow of like you finding out that she's connected with Yui.
Yeah,
You know.
but I'm not sure if Ray knows that or
Yeah,
maybe
I don't
just
know.
feels that. I don't know. It's an interesting scene because of that. I think it's a scene that I used to kind of gloss over, but now rewatching, it's like there's actually kind of a lot going on in this
Right.
scene, despite the dialogue being kind of cheesy.
It could even be too is like Ray's usually just being told what to do or see him as being just a tool, and maybe Shinji's actually saying, "Oh, you're kind of warm and comforting," like kind of complimenting like that, like a mom would be.
Yeah,
And
that's
she's
true.
probably
Because
not used to that.
she's talked to Gendo and has some obvious attachment to him, but even Gendo, who's nice to her, still definitely treats her like a means to an end.
Yeah.
Even if he is much more warm with her than he is with Shinji. And I think, with Shinji, she kind of sees a little. I mean, she definitely sees some of his father in him, but she sees a much more compassionate side of that, which I think ultimately aids in the decision that we'll get to later in End of Eva. Oh yeah, another thing. Pinpin is back.
Yep. That was a good comment too.
There's Pin. I don't even know which scene to talk about with Pinpin because he's just all over the episode. There's
Yep.
just they finally. This is one of the. I think one of the last times in the show we really get a lot of good comic relief from Pinpin because we'll see him again a few more times, but pretty much after this, shit just gets too dark for comic relief. Like this episode has some very serious stuff in it, but it's still got some funny elements too, and we're gonna be losing a lot of that funny stuff pretty soon. It's gonna be buried under some other stuff, so appreciate it while it lasts. We get more of an idea, I guess, about Shinji's feelings for his dad. We see him kind of thinking about going to his mom's grave. This is before he goes and like thinking about his dad and stuff. And it's interesting, Shinji's relationship with his dad, like his still like desire to please his dad despite his dad being his dad's shit all over him his whole life.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have attachment to his dad or care, but that's really what's driving Shinji, even admittedly by him, like he is continuing to pilot so that he can please his father.
Right.
And yeah, I just think that's an interesting relationship and an interesting character motivation for Shinji.
It's like Masato said. The problem is he does care too much. That's why.
Yeah, it'd be so much easier if he did just hate his father. Yeah. Then we see a cool little wedding sequence. I guess I don't know if "cool" is the right word. That was a sarcastic "cool."
Yep.
Not much to say about that. I guess. I think this episode is. This episode is definitely primarily, or I'm sorry, it's split, but the Misato and Kaji and Ritsuko scenes are definitely meant to tell you more about Kaji and Misato's relationship, but Ritsuko's still there, and I can't help but feel like we're meant to see a little bit more of a nicer side to Ritsuko, but I still just don't give a shit about her.
Yeah.
Get her out of there. I think Misato and Kaji's relationship is interesting. Get Ritsuko out of there. I don't care. I don't want to hear a bar scene where she's talking about mitosis or whatever, whatever she talked about. I don't give a shit.
She's there to explain the science, man.
Yeah. But anyways, then we go to the graveyard scene, which is a very famous scene in the show. Obviously, they do it in the rebuilds as well. Dang it, I meant to look this up. Are gravesites like that in Japan, or is that just an Evangelion thing? Like, is that just meant to show like because there's so many people that died in the recent years that's what they did for the graves? Because I know like. Sometimes if they're like massive gravesites like that, they will just do like those very simple things.
Right.
But generally here in America, when at a graveyard, we have like these monstrously enormous tombstones and like they're all decorated and stuff. And this is a very like plain and simple, kind of almost elegant in its own way kind of grave. And I just wonder if maybe that's a Japanese thing because usually it seems like Japanese culture is more about that kind of way than just like let's clutter shit everywhere.
Well, based off of other animes I've watched, so probably pretty 100% accurate. I feel like they do actually have a little bit more shrine type esque thingies, like a lot more, like they're really nice looking, and they're probably not real big, huge graves like here, but still, it's like more than just like a barren field of like small graves like that. So I definitely think it's an Eva thing.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Probably because there's just so many who died from second impact. They did have more
right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
because they've even said before too that the body's not even really there.
Yeah. So that's a cool scene for a lot of reasons. I think mostly because we get to see a little bit of Gendo's character, who up to this point in the show, we really don't know anything about. And, when the show's all said and done, we still really don't know anything about him for the most part. But he's such an interesting character, and I always love to get these little glimpses inside of him because I don't know. He's just a really well written character, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
And scenes like this really show that because like he's such an asshole. He's such a piece of shit to his son and to everyone. So the fact that like they still make him interesting and make you want to know more about him and understand him, I think speaks a lot to the writing of that character. Mm-hmm. Then we find out Shinji plays the cello for no reason at all. I don't think this is ever a theme that comes back.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you could argue that, well, it tells a little bit about Shinji's character that, he was taught to play it and he never stopped, I guess, but I just don't know if we needed to have a whole thing about him playing the cello, but
yeah.
Whatever. Not like it matters. Then we go to, that's when Misato is getting ready to leave, I think. I don't know. Or no, she's already gone because she was at the wedding. Then we see the bar scene. Oh, that's when the cello thing is when Asuka got back from her date and she goes and lies on the floor. That's what that was. Then we go to the bar scene. Okay, so does Kaji have a fetish for high heels or what?
Yeah, he kind of mentions that more than once.
He mentions it a lot. Like, it's definitely meant to be a symbolic thing for Misato's character, but, like, Kaji really talks a lot about those high heels.
Yeah, he does.
It would have been, one thing to just mention at once, but, like, every scene he sees Misato is like, can't believe you're wearing those heels.
Yeah.
Jeez, Kaji.
It's like it was meant to be a statement of being, like, she's matured, but it just really comes off super creepy.
Yeah. Although I will say something I never noticed about the show, because, the heels are definitely meant to show, like, she's not the same kid she was when they dated before,
right.
And she's more mature. But one thing I noticed, a little symbolism here, when Kaji and Misato kiss later and she's holding the heels, as soon as they start to kiss, she drops the heels. She drops her maturity and reverts to... Yeah, I picked up on that, Ano. That's probably not. I probably read into it too much. But we get that sequence of them walking home, and we see... obviously we've kind of seen some scenes with them before where we realize Misato obviously still cares a lot about Kaji. But we see here it comes kind of full force. Mm-hmm. And we kind of understand the relationship more because Misato drunkenly explains it to an extent. She kind of why she left him and why she was interested in him in the first place. And we get a little bit more of a glimpse into her relationship with her father and why she fights the Avas. Another kiss scene, we cut to Asuka and Shinji kissing for the first time.
Oh yeah.
So this is Shinji's first kiss, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Do you think this is Asuka's first kiss?
I definitely think it is, and I think she tries to play it off like it isn't, but
I think so too.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it is.
Because I mean, she's never made it seem like she's had any other interactions with kids her own age before, anyways.
Right. She definitely would brag about that she would have done stuff like that, but yeah, I don't think she's ever had a relationship of any kind. And speaking of that, I'm sure that she left her date earlier, not because the guy was really that boring, but because she already is very attached to Kaji and is now having feelings for Shinji.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's why she left the date. But yeah, I think, I could be wrong, but I think the scene, it's both of their first kiss. They both have mutual attraction, but neither will admit it for various reasons of their characters. First kisses are terrible. I'm just speaking from personal experience. Other people might have different personal experience. I think first kisses are awkward and weird. So I can't imagine a first kiss with somebody you're like really care about, especially two people that really care about each other. And it would just be like weird. And I mean, it's a weird scene anyways. It's kind of played for laughs because Pin's like walking around and Shinji's like suffocating. But I think Asuka's obviously upset because what I say when I mean first kisses are weird, because you expect it to be like spectacular. In movies and TV shows it's spectacular, and then you do it and you're like, oh, that was just kind of like just wet lips.
Yep.
And I think, Asuka probably was really looking forward to her first kiss. Even though in the scene she's kind of playing it off like, oh, I don't know, I'm bored. She legitimately cares about Shinji and probably would be excited by kissing him.
Oh yeah, she definitely wanted to. There's no doubt about it.
And Shinji reciprocates by like, I'm sure Shinji didn't do a good job of kissing back. Not that Asuka was doing a good job anyways. Shinji's like suffocating. After it's over, he doesn't say, oh, that was romantic or anything. He starts gasping for air. It was like the least romantic way you could do a kiss. So I'm sure to Asuka's mind, that's just like destroying to her because she's so she needs, positive feedback from other people to validate her existence.
Right.
So the idea that this kiss was this piece of shit kiss obviously really bothered her, and that's why she kind of lashes out at Shinji, and is upset with him.
It's like, she just expected it to just like make her forget about Kaji and be like, oh, this is what I've been wanting, and then just it just isn't.
Exactly.
Just pure disappointment.
Yeah, and then of course that's rubbed in even farther when she sees Kaji come home, and he's obviously been kissing Misato,
right?
And she thinks about her first kiss. I remember, this is interesting that we're talking this deep about this scene, because the first time I watched the show, I was like, this scene's fucking stupid. Asuka's just a bitch, and she's just being a bitch for no reason. And like now, a couple years later, it's like, oh wow, this scene's actually like really deep between these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember even before you watched Evangelion, you told me that like you didn't want to watch it because you just saw a clip of this online. And you thought it looked stupid, and so you didn't watch the show for a long time because of this scene. Then we cut to Ayanami in a gigantic chamber. This is obviously, we know later, like, this is part of her work for the dummy plug, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But like, this is another thing I love about Evangelion. It's great with all the character stuff, but I love any show that is just like, hey, we're just gonna show you something fucking weird. That's what I loved about Lost as well. Like, I love something that just shows you like, here's this fucking crazy ass thing, and then just like into the episode.
Yeah, it's a great way to like draw you in, because that's what makes you keep watching. It's like, I know they're gonna tell me what this is eventually. I got to figure out when that's going to be.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are disappointed by shows like this, or Lost as well. Like, people get so intent on getting that exact answer,
right? And
I'm okay with not getting it.
Well, I am too.
I'm as long as I kind of get a general idea. In this case, we do kind of learn what that room is. It's a room in relation to the Rey clone system and the dummy system. But there's a lot of answers in Evangelion we don't get. I'm personally okay with that. If you just show me weird shit and then just kind of like lead me in the direction to where I can make a guess about what it is, that's fine. If you just show me weird shit for the sake of weird shit and that's it, that's dumb. But I don't necessarily need you to be like, let's sit down and here's every answer.
Exactly. As long as I have enough context to make up my own sort of theory or thought on it, then that's all I need.
Exactly. Yeah. And plus, I mean, now, years later, we're having a podcast where we're literally talking about all the things that those things could be.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Evangelion did it right. And I think anybody that appreciates the show appreciates that. Then, and another, like, let's see some weird shit. We see Lilith for the first time. Here referred to as Adam.
Right.
This threw me off, majorly
so hard
when I watched the show for the first time.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Yeah, because, even at the beginning of the episode, we have like a bookend here. At the beginning, they mention Adam's growing well, and at the end, we open the door to Central Dogma, and we see Adam, presumably, and even referred to as Adam, and it's this giant thing on a crucifix. And obviously, Kaji has some of his information mixed up, and he's probably not even aware of Lilith's existence. I don't think anybody really is.
Probably not.
Although, it's interesting because everybody referred Sachiel, which is the first angel we see in the show, the first fight, as the third angel. Like, Misato knows it's the third angel. Shinji probably knew it was the third angel. But nobody seems to be aware of Lilith. So why is nobody asking, wait, hang on, who's the second angel?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Because everybody knows about Adam, but everybody seems to just accept the fact that there's just a gap there where we don't know who the second one was.
Maybe Gendo's just so good at covering it up.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that literally threw me for a loop in this exact episode, because it's like, we just talked about it, her being down there, thought that was him, then they say that, and in my mind it's like, oh, that's weird, I thought Lilith was supposed to be down here, maybe this is like different, I'm remembering wrong. And I was like, no, wait a minute, that can't be right. So even in this episode I know about it still threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I've always been confused why they wanted to confuse the audience about that one, because I remember the first time I watched the show, and then when they talk about Adam later and Lilith, I was just like, I'm really fucking lost. Yeah. And I think this was something I actually kind of had to read online the first time I watched it. Was like, oh, okay, so Kaji was just wrong.
Yeah, this is the type of stuff that you get really confused about Ava when you watch it for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. But again, I mean, this is, why Ava really lends itself to being rewatched, because there's a lot to take in on a rewatch. But yeah, I mean, and then, we cut, and that's the end of the episode. Which I love the ending. I love any ending that just throws me a fucking weird curveball and then just is like, goodbye. till next time.
Yeah.
Because that just makes you want to get to the next one. And
well, there's some kind of interesting things about Kaji too, just apart from things. It's like, does Kaji actually know that that's not Adam, or is he like lying just because Masato's there?
I considered that, but I don't really know what his benefit for lying to her would be.
Right.
I could see why he might want to lie to other people, but at this point, it seems like he wants her to kind of know the truth too. And I mean, he makes a point to show her that. He could have just said, "Oh, never mind, you're right, let's go." But instead, he's like, "No, you need to see this shit."
Right.
And I think if he wanted her to see it, there was no benefit to him lying if he knew that it was Lilith. I think he probably thought it was.
Yeah, because I feel like Kaji kind of knows that it's kind of like shit or get off the pot moment where he's going to get to a point where he's going to have to pick a side somewhere.
Definitely,
and he wants to have someone like Masato be able to back him up in case something happens, or stuff like that. Needs someone else to have that information he knows is going to do something with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he even admits in the episode he's kind of been using Misato, and even after spoilers, guys, in case you haven't watched the show, Kaji dies.
Wait, what?
Wait, did Kaji die?
I don't think he died.
Did he die? Sorry, guys. That's a joke. That's a reference to something. He leaves the information with her after he dies. He definitely wants her to know and keep fighting the good fight or whatever.
Exactly.
But what Kaji doesn't realize, even now, he's still being used and manipulated and tracked. And he thinks that he's going above and beyond people and behind people's backs right now. But Gendo knows everything Kaji's doing. I'm sure Gendo knows Kaji's down there showing Misato this thing.
Yeah.
Gendo's just choosing not to react because there's no point in reacting. It's better to let Kaji think that he's doing his thing.
Kaji's really sneaky and smart, but Gendo's on a whole nother level where
it's really
seems
crazy.
Like everybody plays into his plan perfectly every single time.
Yeah, it's insane the level that Gendo's on because I think especially the first time you watch this episode, you're thinking wow, Kaji's one step ahead of everybody, but Gendo's 20 steps ahead of Kaji.
It's awesome.
So yeah, which again, that's one of the reasons Gendo's such a great character because he's so fucking he's just owning the whole thing.
Right, and I like it because he's typically when you have a smart or clever character, they like to try and rub that in your face. But look how good at chess he is, or stupid stuff like that. But with Gendo, it's just you get a little glimpse of Gendo. He maybe says, a sentence or two, and that's it. Then he's just gone.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite villain ever because he's not even necessarily a traditional villain in any way.
No.
He's never really, despite being presented as an asshole to Shinji, he's not really presented as a villain. He seems to be doing good for the world, at least for most of the show. But he really is a mastermind genius villain. He's manipulating everybody, controlling the world, essentially pulling strings. Even Sele, who is so sure they're manipulating him, he's really manipulating them. And it's insane, the level that he's at. But I was gonna say something else about Misato and Kaji, but I can't remember what it was. Sorry, guys. Anything else to talk about in this episode?
No, not really. Kaji's kind of the main focus in my opinion.
Yeah.
Gives you a good insight on that character, I think.
Definitely. I think just a lot of great insight on a lot of characters here. We learn more about Gendo, Misato, Kaji, Shinji,
you learn about
Asuka.
the Marmaduke thing being not Marmaduke.
Marmaduke. From now on, this is now a Marmaduke Rewatch podcast. The animated film with Owen Wilson about dogs surfing.
What the hell is that place called?
The Marduk Institute.
Marduk. That you get a lot of information about that because they didn't really talk much about that really before then.
Hey, I know we don't have a huge fan base. If anybody out there is an artist, please draw some kind of crossover of Evangelion and Marmaduke. Just please do that. I know we're probably not going to get any fan art ever, but if we ever get fan art, that's the one I want.
That one. Please do that one. I heard interesting.
It can be Marmaduke surfing in the sea of LCL and the Evangelion. Shinji on the beach with Asuka and Marmaduke in the water.
That would be really great.
Oh man! Shouts out to Marmaduke.
That's probably the best mess I've done.
Sorry, what were you saying about the Marduk Institute though?
That lady I've read an interesting theory that might be Ritsuko's grandmother, who's kind of being a spy on the government.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
So
is there evidence for that theory? Because they never mentioned Ritsuko having a grandmother.
Right. Well, she said at one point that her grandmother's taking care of her cat for her.
Oh,
you see
yeah.
her feeding her cat, and there's something about how when Kaji gives Ritsuko a trinket, she knows exactly what it's from.
Oh shit!
So they're kind of saying that that's probably like kind of like being like a little nod that maybe that's her grandmother, and her grandmother's kind
That's
of the
actually
spy.
really good because in that scene she definitely, I mean, she knows exactly where that cat thing's from, and then she kind of like looks at it. Yeah, and you know, I don't give a shit about Ritsuko, so I wasn't really reading into it. I didn't even put it on my notes, but I did take note of it like mentally, and I thought it was interesting. But wow, that's really good
Yeah, it's
theory.
pretty cool. Yeah,
that's really good. And I mean, yeah, that would make sense because I mean, at this, you know, it just seems like some random old chick. Like, what's her connection? Why is she tied up? So that's a really good theory.
Yeah.
Even even if that's not actually the writing, whatever the writing is, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's the theory I'm going to go with now.
Exactly. There's just sometimes there's like that. Those theories are just like this. Just makes way too much sense not to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much the episode. Again, cutting deep to a lot of characters, really interesting. Next week is when shit really starts to hit the fan. I can't wait to talk about next week's. It's a great episode. But yeah, so make sure you watch that for next time. We did get last week. We asked, is there anything we can do to make this show better that we haven't been talking about that you guys want to hear us talk about? And I forgot the guy's name, Dan. I think Dan or Daniel. Sorry. I really am sorry. I forgot your name. But mentioned on Twitter that he is a fan of our show, and he would like to hear us kind of talk more about specific characters and themes, and maybe some of the symbolism. I think we talked a lot about the characters in this episode, just coincidentally because this episode is so much about them. So I think for now we nailed it. But he kind of mentioned, maybe we can have like a segment each episode where we just talk specifically about the characters, which would be cool. But would you guys, please respond and like let us know what you would want. Would you rather that each episode we devoted a specific segment to just talk about the characters every episode? Because we were thinking maybe it might be better if after the show is all said and done, because once we get to the end of the show, that's pretty much the end of our podcast. We're planning on doing End of Evangelion and then possibly the rebuilds if people want, but that's it. And we're over halfway done now. We were thinking maybe we could do episodes about the characters, just like a full summary of the character, because we could talk about them now in each segment, sure, but it would only be like the characters so far. We're not going to talk about what Shinji's doing 10 episodes from now. Right now. But maybe once the show's all said and done, we could talk about the entire character and like
kind of like where they started, where they go to, kind of
just break them down emotionally and mentally and see that kind of stuff. So would you guys rather have that as like a mega podcast where we talk about the characters, or maybe like a podcast for each? Because some of them might take longer. I don't know if we need a whole podcast to talk just about Shinji, but we might. And then like some of them we could definitely compact into other stuff. Like all the side characters could just be a single episode, or we could even do like one mega episode where we talk about every character.
And then,
or again, we could still just do segments regularly.
I think we'll definitely need a whole podcast dedicated to Pin Pin.
Oh well, yeah, that goes without saying. Even whether you want it or not, that's happening.
It's happening,
guys. That's sarcasm. But yeah, so let us know what you guys want, and yeah, we'd definitely be interested in doing that. Though I think that's a really cool idea to talk more about some of the character stuff. Because we do kind of, we kind of try to cover the plot of each episode, and we don't always dive deep into certain aspects of it. But again, some of that is because we're saving some of that. We want to talk about some of that later, especially in terms of like story stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think we had any other comments. A couple like more positive, good show guys comments, but not in terms of like things to discuss.
Also, that guy's name was Dave.
That's what I said. Everybody who heard Dan heard me wrong, and the tapes will show if you play it back. It actually says Dave. But yeah, so you can email us, Twitter us, whatever you want to do. All at the normal places. We're the Wet Rats. On YouTube, you can find all that information in the description. Next week, refresh your knowledge on episode 16, which is the one where there's like a negative energy field, circular ball, angel. I don't know. I can't remember what the word they use for it is. Dark matter stuff. And we're going to be talking about that. And, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, if you celebrate Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Actually, I should say happy Black Friday, because really Thanksgiving doesn't exist anymore. It's not even in stores.
It's not Black Friday doesn't even exist. It's like Black Week now.
That's true. Well, it's almost Black Month, because I've seen deals already starting.
Well, I hear people be like, get Black Friday deals early. Why? It's not Black Friday deals anymore. It's on fucking Friday.
Yeah. Off topic real quick from Evangelion. I wonder how long it's going to be before like the irony of the fact that it's called Black Friday, but it's not just Friday, is too much to bear.
Yeah.
Like, it's already been Thursday for a while now, as well as Friday, and now it's like the whole week, and now we're even having ones that started as early as the beginning of November. How much longer before that irony is way too much to bear, and we can't call it Friday anymore?
Yeah, hopefully soon.
So send your theories, the Wet Rats. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, what do you think?
Will
about
Black
that?
Friday be our third impact?
Will we ever get a Evangelia and released here on Black Friday?
Is the Evangelion museum in Japan open on Black Friday? Let us know what you think.
What are their deals? Send us,
all right, we got to cut this before people hate us more than they already do. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
Later.